Thank you for joining me with my 10th edition on how New Zealand is progressing with the impact of COVID-19 and our recovery. Look, I know things are tough, frustrating, and challenging, and you are rethinking, are you doing what is right to get over the issues? Now, I want to help, so let's get started. Now, for those of you who do not know me, I'm Ranson. I'm based in Wellington region, that's the capital of New Zealand, and operate throughout New Zealand with a global outreach. Now, I'm a licensed immigration advisor appointed by the New Zealand government, and I specialise in all types of New Zealand immigration apart from refugee law. Now, I've owned my own business for 29 years, chairman of the largest immigration industry association, and was the instigator for orchestrating combining the 4 immigration association groups of lawyers and advisors throughout New Zealand. Why did I do that? Well, as a result of COVID-19, it was important to bring together the whole industry for the benefit of migrants in New Zealand, offshore, along with New Zealand employers. So engaging with government ministers and immigration officials weekly, making them aware of issues impacting on the New Zealand recovery was important from a strong perspective. Now, in talking to you each week, I'm wanting to make you aware that we do have a lot of challenges in front of us for migrants in New Zealand, offshore, and the New Zealand employers. The pandemic has created a lot of immigration issues, but also the impact of our national general elections in September. Yes, politics are getting in the way. Now, I'm heightened that our government is recognising that we want investors and entrepreneurs to rebuild this country. Yes, we need you. There are 3 major pathways available under this criteria. So by investing 10 million or greater, 3 million or greater, or have experience and skills proving you are an entrepreneur, that you can build a business we need or buy into an existing one to increase its growth. Now, if you are considering a new challenge and a relocation, do look at New Zealand. Let's be realistic. All countries have issues, but ours are minor in the scheme of things. And we have been successful to date in fighting COVID-19. Now, as a result of COVID-19, our unemployment rate is increasing, expecting to reach 8.3% by the end of June. Therefore, protecting job opportunities for New Zealand residents and citizens is a priority. But we don't have the skills in this country to cover what we need. Now, I have mentioned before that there will be casualties resulting in your ability to stay in New Zealand or activate the visa you already have if you're offshore. So if you're serious about a future in New Zealand, it is important to understand your own situation with the objective of seeing if you can work through the issues. Talk to us. In the past week, I have had sent to me cases of people who are actually in dire straits, and some of them are getting totally wrong information and they're dealing with the wrong people. So don't be one of these folks. Now, a major issue that has impacted on many people offshore has been our border closure. The safety of our people is paramount to protect them from the inflow of further COVID-19 cases, and this is not negotiable. Now, whilst work has been undertaken to allow special exemptions to people coming into this country, quarantining was introduced. Now, this week, it was discovered that breaches have occurred during the mandatory quarantining and isolation, which has put everyone in the country at risk. And this has occurred because people responsible for the function did not carry out their job of enforcement. Now, to think what the people of New Zealand, Team New Zealand, have been through to have this mismanagement happen and government failing to accept responsibility doesn't look good. And the current government is really falling in popularity. Now, I've been actively involved with the work towards increasing the volume of quarantine locations and beds so that many of the impacted temporary visa holders, workers being unable to return to their jobs, families being split from one another, being kept out of New Zealand, and the New Zealand employers. I mean, you're struggling without your workforce to get your businesses up and running. And getting your business operating is what would help the economy get back on track. This current debacle, I feel, is disgusting. I mentioned the exceptions for people coming into the country, which has been adjusted yet again. So, in addition to the humanitarian cases, now partners and dependents of New Zealand citizens and residents who are ordinarily resident in New Zealand, yes, you can come here, essential workers. And the much talked of other essential workers. Well, these other essential workers I've talked about before, and yet again, the tweaking is a camouflage of the lead agencies and the management of the process. There are now 3 stages to this, and I don't like what is expected of the migrant. Now, the employer has to justify that the migrant they want meets the other essential worker category. Fair enough, because they're wanting to protect jobs for New Zealanders. But once the employer's got through that, the migrant has to apply for a critical purpose visa, which is a visitor visa with worker rights. Now, it's issued for a maximum period of 6 months. And during that time, you can apply for a longer term visa. So I question, would you, the professional, take the risk of coming out to New Zealand on a 6 months visa and not knowing if you can get to stay longer? I personally wouldn't be recommending it. Now, this is a work in progress, so hang in there. I'm having discussions next week with officials. Everything is evolving all of the time. Changes are coming through all of the time. And I will continue my battle for the employers to get some practical sense through to the government if they really want to get these key people into the country. So bear with us. Small improvements are happening, but it takes time and it is frustrating. But do remember, we are in unprecedented times and there was no rules written down for this. Now, it's such a pity that politics gets in the way of logic as it relates to immigration, but the current government has certainly lost a lot of its popularity, as I mentioned previously. In this country, you can be very influential as a person in a small pond, and that makes a huge difference. And if you feel you can make a contribution to this country through investment or skills, do your homework now for the future. Now, for free, let us review with no pain if you can achieve your goals. Let me know how I can help. We at Woburn International are a great team of knowledgeable, skilled people with high values. So talk to us about what you would like to achieve with your relocation to New Zealand. So until next week, keep safe and healthy, and thank you for listening.